Basically, what happened is this guy decided last year to sneak this into the National Defense Authorization Act. It failed, got removed from the bill because people realized how damaging it would be to hand one bureaucrat who's unelected unilateral authority to ban any financial transaction in the United States with no public hearing. Right? We like to believe that that's probably a good idea in a checks and balance government. So this congressman decided to take that exact same language that was stripped out of the old NDAA bill that couldn't get passed and put it into America Competes right here. And if this is passing, it would give Janet Yellen, the Treasury Secretary, the unilateral authority to indefinitely ban all cryptocurrencies in the United States with no public hearing, no checks and balances, no say. Just wake up on the wrong side of the bed and say, you know, that crypto stuff is real bad. Let's just get rid of it. And we're just going to hand it in a bill, apparently, that's trying to be passed as part of this broader agenda to compete with China by destroying a $2 trillion part of our economy. You can't even make this shit up anymore. You know, I was very diplomatic with the infrastructure bill. We called senators. We said, hey, let's get around. And then we got Shelby'd. Now they're just throwing it in there. And why would Jim do this? Well, you know, here's his Wikipedia page for what that's worth. Let's look through. He went to Harvard. Okay. Yeah, he spent some time in Lima. All right, there we go. Went to Oxford. Oh, that's good. Oh, here we go. 1995, Haynes began working at Goldman Sachs as a banker in Latin America, New York, and eventually promoted to vice president. He's part of the Vampire Squid. One of the new Democrat coalition shills that came in from Connecticut's 4th Congressional District and takes orders from the banking lobby. There you go. That's where the money came from. There is no transparency here. There's no checks and balances here. It's an unprecedented power grab, and it's being snuck into a bill, and there's an attempt to bury it, no debate, just pass it immediately. We can't discuss it. And unfortunately, this particular bill, no matter what we say and do, will pass the Congress.
Guys, this is by far one of the most important things that Hoskinson has said in a good little while. Hey guys, what is up? It's Dusty here, and welcome back to another crypto video. And let me quickly also say, I don't necessarily agree with everything that Charles says. I guess I gotta quickly put a little disclaimer out there about that. But in this specific point right here, I do agree with him on quite a couple of different points, and that is basically that no one man should have all that power. No, not a single person should basically have all the authority to say, hey, you know what, I woke up here, I don't feel so good, let's ban crypto, or do something along those lines. And John Dean was basically posting something earlier. We must get the Jahimas out of office. His bill is evil. Well, again, that's to be made up for yourself, but what the bill basically includes is some very high up power to basically give Janet Yellen the power, I don't know how to describe it in the best manner, we've already covered it before, the power to decide more things than we think is reasonable. And again, Crypto Area here basically said, watch this and connect and take action basically, because what people are doing specifically in the XP community, which is again why this lawsuit is so important, is they're connecting to Congress. And what does that mean? What does that mean? Why does it happen? Why is it important? Well, because through Ripple's ventures, right, which is basically the lawsuit right now between Ripple and the SEC. I called it their venture because it's their adventure, right? We noticed, hey, there's something inherently wrong with the way that the SEC is handling things, and people like John Deaton stepped on in to basically explain, wow, we have power to come back against the SEC and do something about it, so let's utilize every single way, shape, or form that we have to be able to make some sort of impact. And now before we move on, I want to quickly state that the crypto market is actually doing quite good right now. I know we've got ourselves quite a lot of negative announcements, but to be honest with you, when I look at the overall crypto situation, it's not really negative. I mean, the majority of articles we've seen throughout the last couple of days have been overwhelmingly positive in terms of progression. And even though there's this inherent pressure from the SEC to numb things down, we are seeing quite a lot of progress in the US with all the regulations and rules, right? We got Biden coming in next week with some new rules. We got Texas and I believe Arizona coming in with some potential crypto bills to actually legalize it in some way, shape, or form. A lot of crazy stuff is happening. But today was actually a very bullish day for Bitcoin. I think the majority of you guys also are with me when I say that things were really looking juicy. I think over the last couple of hours, things have kind of numbed down. But generally speaking, the stock market is also just looking beautiful. Again, guys, it is the weekend as far as I know. So, of course, it's relative, right? Because it's not open as of this point. But it's half past 12 as well. So it wouldn't be open anyway, whatever the moment was. Point being, however, it's looking really damn beautiful in that regard. And that's, I think, also, again, what puts us with the connection between the stock market and Bitcoin. I wanted to quickly say that I've actually thought of a new strategy to go for. And I'll actually explain that in another video over on this channel, I guess, where I just explain one of my newest strategies to kind of make a lot of money regardless of whether or not we're in a bull or bear market. And I've been thinking this out properly, talking to a lot of other crypto YouTubers, and a lot of them agree with me, so I'm also going to share that with you. But before we move on, again, make sure you press that like button and subscribe to the channel if you are enjoying these videos. And let's now quickly take a little bit of a look at this right here, as Monica Long from Ripple just shared something. Another quarter, another XRP Markets report. Some highlights from the past few months: 130 million transactions, 113 billion transacted in terms of dollars on the XP ledger, up from 90 million transactions and $69 billion transacted in Q3. Wow. Launch of WXRP on Binance and others, and all Bridge.io interoperability and even more. Tokenization is top of mind as usual, and the launch of XLS20D will bring native NFT functionality to the XP ledger. One cool use case I think will continue to grow: tokenized carbon credits. Change, I don't know how you would pronounce that, is developing this on top of the XP ledger, and so things are really taking their sweet roll, so to speak. Now, this comes after the Q4 Ripple XP ledger markets report has been put out there, and I actually haven't covered it on the channel. If you guys want that, let me know right now in the comment section, and I'll actually get to it right away. But that's because the most important highlights are already posted right here, and you can draw your conclusions as far as you want. But it basically talks about the past progress for XRP, what type of partnerships that they've already announced and whatnot, and the actual numbers behind the sales and whatnot. But in reality, neither do those sales have any impact on the price, nor do the past partnerships have any impact on the price, because we know about all of them. So I'm not really sure exactly what we can fetch out of this report that's going to be mind-boggling or new to us. If you're going to be mesmerized by sales, then you most likely would have already seen the report for yourself the moment it launched. And if you are mesmerized by that, then you don't really care about the XP price in that sense, because the sales are not one-to-one, right? And if you're a big Ripple hater, then you most likely have seen it yourself as well. And again, depending on what side of the, line you're on, Ripple supporter, Ripple hater, you're going to interpret the data differently, because the more that Ripple sells, you can see it as a good thing or bad thing. The fact that Ripple sells, you can see it as a good thing or bad thing, right? From the good part, it's again showing that XRP as of this point is probably not a security. Otherwise, Ripple couldn't have sold it. The reason they're selling, you can see it as a bad side, is because Ripple is dumping on us, and they're using XRP for legal expenses. You know, you can always see it from two sides, and so not exactly sure what we can take out of this that I think is really worth it sharing. And I don't want to waste people's time, you know, so that's why. If I do waste your time sometimes, I'm trying my best to make these videos as entertaining as possible. Now, a little side note, guys. I actually want to know from y'all, what is your favorite cryptocurrency? I know I want to talk here about a crypto exchange, but I kind of don't want to ask people what their exchanges are, because I'm already thinking a lot of people are going to get scammed or something in the comment section. Let's not do that. I want to know from you guys, what's your favorite crypto to trade? I've been using Cryptocom for a little while for actually just mostly staking, but nowadays a little bit of trading, but I actually don't like it at all, all right? And I don't want to kind of call them out in a negative way, but the only thing I want to say about them is, man, their support is bad. And I think that's actually a fun thing about crypto. Every now and then I think about this. Crypto is right now at a stage where people can get away with quite a lot. Exchanges can get away with quite a lot. And things are really just unregulated to some point still. What I mean with that is that I just at some points only notice how young the crypto situation is and how early we really are. If you look at a real established exchange, for example, and a crypto one, you cannot compare the answers that you're getting or just the communication, everything and how it works. It's so different. And you guys are mostly seeing it from the front end. I sometimes see it from the back end as well in communications. But it works so strange. And it sometimes makes me realize how early we are. I just want to quickly say congratulations to you for being here in the crypto realm in 2022. Hopefully you were here already a little bit earlier. Then again, maybe hopefully you weren't, because right now you're getting a 50% discount from all-time high. It just depends. But still, guys, I really think we're quite early to all of this, because a lot of the stuff that you're seeing is not going to run in a couple of months or years. Then I have two little things right here. Just want to quickly show you that right now in the Charles Hoskinson video, right, we saw a little bit of a battle between China and the US about innovation. I'm not exactly sure what the America Competes bill is completely about. It's basically to keep up with China and I guess to kind of compete against the Chinese yuan. You got to remember that Russia, as of this point, is also a very big threat. I don't want to say that too loudly, but you guys get my drift. Because, well, Russia, literally a day before the U.S. said the president and a couple of those other high authorities are really getting into crypto. And then just a little bit later, Biden's like, oh, wait a minute, we need to do something about Bitcoin, national security. Boom. Kind of coincidental, and I've been thinking about that for a little while. Was it really because Russia was all of a sudden progressive towards Bitcoin that they were like, we're not going to ban it, we're doing something positive towards it, and we're looking into it in a positive manner? And then the U.S. literally a couple hours later was like, hold up, wait a minute, we need to do something. We need to do something. It's a matter of national security. I'm just connecting the dots here that I've found, but I think it's rather interesting, you know, and maybe it makes no sense. Maybe there's no connection there to be found, but when I look at it, I'm like, maybe it was Russia that actually prompted them to do so. And again, they're also saying they're fighting a little bit of a battle with China in the sense of crypto regulation, or I guess in giving people power in that sense. And again, this bill that we already covered, by the way, is a pretty scary one. We're going to be looking out for that to see how things progress. Now, on the other front, I told you at the start here, there's a lot of positive stuff going on. It's true, but there's always the rotten apples. And one of the things which just happened again from the SEC is the SEC has rejected Fidelity's application for a Bitcoin ETF, citing tether fraud and market manipulation as reasons why. Take of it as you want. It's a funny little argument to make. It's really funny that they cite fraud in tether and market manipulation as a reason for not to have a Bitcoin ETF, in the sense that there's still a futures ETF, but it's just not a spot ETF, and whatever. And then last but not least, if you're again wondering why a couple of shows are covering the Ripple v. SEC lawsuit, man, it's one of the greatest shows that I've ever watched. And a lot of you guys in the comment section say, Dusty, please stop covering the Ripple v. SEC lawsuit. Cover XP Ledger News. Even though I kind of want to sometimes, I'm thinking, it's not really too juicy to cover this. Maybe I'm hooked. All right, I feel like a little bit of a maybe I shouldn't say that. What can I be addicted to? I feel like a gamer. All right. That's I feel like a gamer. I think that's the addiction that we are like, oh yeah, that's fine. All right, I wanted to say something else, but I'm going to keep it cool. I feel a little bit like somebody who's just, okay, never mind. I just feel freaking addicted to the freaking show. All right, I'm just literally watching every single this lawsuit unfold. And since I've been with it from the start and I've been covering every single part of it, every single time we get some news, I just get juiced up. I'm like, oh, okay, what's going on? What's going on? I need to know. What's going on? What? And I think a lot of you guys like it too, which is why I cover it every single day. Then again, put your feedback down below. If you don't want to see it again, I might not cover it anymore. But I honestly am pretty hooked to the show. I like every single update. I just want to know what's going on. And I think it's so unfair in the sense that I just want I just want to know it all. I just want to give it all to you guys as well. But just let me know in the comments down below what you think about that, because man, oh man, is this a shit show. And I guess that's also what makes it so much fun. But yeah, that's just me though. Man, we've been covering it for a long time. It's been going for more than a year. And we've covered like at least 100 episodes of that stuff, man. You can from one end say, what can you do with all this? Well, I think you're better prepared for what's eventually going to come. We're in a better position to understand exactly the underlying fundamentals of crypto and crypto regulation. And so whenever there's an announcement like the one we've just seen Charles talk about, we're like, ooh, okay, so that doesn't make a lot of sense from this perspective, that one. And when we just see the SEC deny an ETF again, we're like, okay, it's not the only stupid thing the SEC has done. It's not the only strange thing that's happening. And as I often put things over on Twitter, a lot of you guys are also saying, well, but the ETH drama. And here's John Dean, for example, saying, have you noticed how Gary, Heron Lee, Hester Pierce, and other SEC leaders and staffers never give a personal opinion on whether a specific token is a security? Then why was Hinman so eager and willing to gratuitously give a public speech declaring ETH not one? Let's check this out.
One of them's from Rhett Creighton. Would Ethereum be considered a security?
I love the question because it's just a very direct question, and it's one that I get asked a lot. Again, I don't opine on whether any particular thing is a security. I think that's an important thing to know about the SEC. We don't make we don't give opinions about particular things, whether or not it fits within the security bucket, until if we think that it does and you didn't offer it the right way, we might bring an enforcement action.
Yeah.
So it can be difficult for we think that it does and security bucket, until if we think that it does and you didn't offer it the right way, we might bring an enforcement action. So it can be difficult for people to figure out. I will note, however, that you can look at a speech that the director of our division of corporation finance, Bill Hinman, gave, in which he addressed Ethereum, and you might look.
One of them's from Rhett Creighton.
Are you guys seeing what I'm seeing here? Yeah, that's why I love this Ripple v. SEC lawsuit, guys. You can't deny how funny this is, no? Oh, no, it's not my personal opinion. Well, but it's not, you know, every SEC member says it's difficult to find out. Okay, let's actually sum a couple things up. Gary Gensler says it's easy to understand whether or not a crypto is or isn't a security. Gary Gensler also does not give out which ones are, which ones aren't, and the SEC is protecting whether or not Bitcoin, ETH, and XRP are in terms of how it was decided in the background. Hester Peirce says it's not so easy to find out. If you do something wrong, we'll come and sue you, basically. Hester Peirce also says we do not give out opinions. William Hinman says I do not give out opinions, yet Hester Peirce comes back and says Hinman gave an official speech. Wait, no, I said one wrong. William Hinman says he didn't give the proper regulatory stuff. It was an opinion. Yet Hester Peirce says we don't give opinions, really. But it comes back in the sense that Hester Peirce says go watch that speech, which again was just an opinion, which Hester Peirce says SEC people don't really do. Yet he says it's an opinion that should not be used, yet she refers back to it. Man, I'm just entertaining myself too much with this stuff. Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should just lock myself up in a basement and never, involve myself with this stuff anymore. Or I guess go outside. Maybe that could also work. But I enjoy it, and I've been with it from the get-go, and I think you guys are going to enjoy the ride with me as well as we uncover more about the Ripple v. SEC lawsuit and the absurdities. Man, oh man, is this fun to watch. I'm enjoying myself too much. I can't help it, guys. I really, really can't help it. Having said that, right now we are extremely bullish on crypto still. We've seen quite a lot of negative articles, but in the grand scheme of things really aren't looking so bad. And Bitcoin honestly is doing really amazing over the last couple of... Wait a minute. Bitcoin is actually pumping right now as we speak even. Look at that. Juicy little pump on the stock front. Look at the numbers on that, It's really crazy if Bitcoin were to actually do bad right now unless the stocks turn around. And again, we had a nice, perfect retest for Bitcoin. Perfect. I did not draw this in today, guys. You remember. And right now we're retesting the most important and critical area for Bitcoin. I think we faced some resistance just now. You can see the numbers for yourself, right? Look back at my videos. I don't put these numbers in, or these zones, the day itself. These zones were all put in a couple of weeks ago at least, because it's been weeks since we did TN on the channel, and I haven't touched anything except for this purple line that I just put in just now. But every other thing except for this purple line was in there from before, and I think it's rather funny how this is coming along. I think it's really funny, guys. I think it's really, really, really funny. All right, but that was it for today's video. Hopefully y'all enjoyed it. Hopefully I did not have the video paused the whole time, and hopefully there's some content here. Hopefully I did not showcase only my face and not the screen. Man, I'm having some issues with the recording, so hopefully it's all good. And see you guys again in another crypto video later today. Thank you all so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe and press the like button. Adios, amigos.